going to be playing every Shrek game and ranking them. Fair warning guys, I'm not much of a gamer, so I'm ranking these based off my own experience and how much I'm willing to go back and play these on my own time. So please don't get mad at me if your favorite Shrek game isn't number 1. I'm going to be playing them in release date order, and I'm also going to be skipping the mobile games and the TV Sky GameStar games and the V-Smile handheld games. Oh man, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to change the title of this video. I know, but I really can't find a way to actually find and play these TV games and the handheld games, so I hope you guys understand. I will still be playing 30 Shrek games in this video, and I think that's plenty of Shrekking and Ogering in one day. That being said, I hope you guys have an extra pair of pants, because it's about to get swampy in here. We're gonna start off with all the 2001 games, starting with Shrek Fairy Tale Freakdown. Great title by the way. Released for the Game Boy Color. It's the first ever Shrek video game. So basically this is a fighting game where I control my character, and I chose Shrek obviously, and I have to fight these AI characters and I'll be granted a password if I beat them. This was pretty basic fun, nothing crazy. I was cruising through most of the fights until I got to the dragon. That's where I spent most of my time in this game, just trying to get past this level. Oh my god, I'm so close. After a while, I finally managed to win, and that's where my story ends with this game. I think I had like 3 or 4 more fights to go. There's 9 stages, and after completing all stages, you are granted the rank of champion, which I have no desire to be champion. I think the dragon was enough for itself. And I'm gonna move on to Shrek Game Land Activity Center. This is a PC game for children. All the mini games are pretty self-explanatory. You can do word find. I spent a lot of time on sliding tiles because of my tiny brain. Picture mixer was really easy. I had to squash some bugs where I got a triple-digit high score. The Ogre Maze was too easy. Crisscross was fun, and finally the Melody Match was definitely the game that was making my tiny brain use all of its firepower. For a kids game, this was surprisingly really fun. Moving on to finally this creepy ass cover of Shrek 1 from the original Xbox. So apparently Fiona was captured by an evil nerd named Merlin, and in order to get her back, I had to do a list of good deeds. I have to say the voice acting in this game is hilarious. Oh, no, good. Ow. This game is funny and kooky, from the way I'm sprinting to farting and burping fire. The side characters are funny as well. I could see myself playing this a lot if I was a kid. I didn't spend too much time on it though, because I know Shrek Extra Large later on in this video is a reworked version of this. So here's the ranking so far for the first 3 Shrek games. Don't ask me why I like the child's game better than the fighting game. Moving on to all the 2002 games, starting with our first racing game, Shrek Swamp Kart Speedway. Alright, these faces are too goofy, and so is this game. It's your typical racing game. You have the option of 12 characters. There's not much to be said. I played 4 maps and I ended up in the top 3 in each of them. It's a silly little game. I could definitely see kids back in the day playing this while waiting at a doctor's appointment or something. I don't know why that came to mind. Alright guys, remember when I said I'm not much of a gamer? What I meant to say is I just suck, and Shrek Hassle at the Castle just proves this. Ow! How did that even hit me, bro? Whoa! Oh my god, I pressed jump, bro. I literally pressed to jump. Bro, how am I supposed to dodge that? Alright, that's enough. I literally just went through the first 3 or 4 stages of level 1, and I left it at that because I was really struggling. Basically, it's a 2D game, and I just had to beat and get through these mobs. I first saved Donkey, and then I had to get past this level in under 150 seconds, which I did. This game's okay. I just wish there was a checkpoint for when you die instead of restarting the level. I will say this game was a challenge for sure, but also pretty fun, and I just suck, so that's just on me. Shrek Treasure Hunt is the first PlayStation game in this video. It's a party game where I'm planning a picnic for Fiona, but I have to complete challenges in order to unlock minigames. I collected 20 horseshoes to play this. What? Why? And then I had to collect these gnomes to do this really short mini game. And then there's this weird cutscene after you win a mini game. What the hell? Nah, what? That doesn't look right. I really don't like how you spend most of the time running and jumping to collect things just to play a short mini game. The The game itself is a little buggy, so it was kind of hard to enjoy the game, honestly. Shrek Extra Large is a rework from the original Shrek Xbox game, but this time it's for the GameCube, so I was actually curious as to what was different. Starting off, I don't see a crazy difference other than the graphics, and this time I start off in a different level. I am still farting and causing explosions. I will say this is a lot smoother. I was freezing a lot more on the Xbox version. This time I actually had more tasks to do so I can unlock the next level, and I think that made the game a little more funner. The voice acting is really funny again.
Put me in my nest.
Hey, come back here with my poo-poo. Cock your head.
Also, this might sound weird, but this kind of scratches an itch in my brain where I have to complete tasks in order to move on, if that makes sense. I know like most games you have to beat bosses and whatnot in order to move on, but this is just simple like tasks, and I think it's just really like calming. I don't know how to explain this. So this is definitely gonna go high up on my list. Shrek Fun with Phonics. So this is another children's educational game where you learn about phonics. I didn't even know that was a word or a thing. Every level is the same, pretty self-explanatory side-scrolling platform where I have to jump and collect the correct phonics. That's pretty much it, and the next game is the exact same concept except it's just math. Guys, I hate math. I literally don't even know how to do simple division on paper. There's no division in this game, so it's like the perfect cutoff level for me. Moving on to a PS2 game finally, Shrek Super Party. There's 5 realms and each realm has their own minigame. The purpose of the game is to be the first player to collect a certain amount of precious drops. And to get those precious drops you have to match bugs, but you can swap or trade with other players. Honestly, I was confused on how this works because we also had to roll dice to move forward. Besides getting absolutely destroyed in most minigames and the slight confusion, I was actually having a lot of fun. I have never played this game or any Shrek game at all, but this feels nostalgic for some reason. The split screens and the amount of fun I was having, it felt like I was actually playing against real people and not bots. I could see myself playing this with my friends and family if this was more modern. Shrek Super Party, you're going at number 1. Moving on to the 2003 and 2004 games, starting with Reekin Havoc. Reekin Havoc is reminding me of Fairy Tale Freakdown. It's just another fighting game. The plot is Lord Farquaad was eaten by a dragon, but somehow he is a ghost now with magical powers that is hell-bent on taking revenge on Shrek and the crew. I don't remember Lord Farquaad being a ghost in any movie, so this might just be a video game thing, but I could be wrong. There's 24 stages in this game that you have to get through as either Shrek, Fiona, or Donkey. Only got through 2 stages. It's just a bit of an upgrade from Freakdown. I'm not impressed, but it's not a bad game. I just don't think these beat 'em up side-scrolling games are my vibe. This is going to be the first of 3 different Shrek 2 games. This is the PS2 version developed by Luxaflow. I only played this game for about an hour. I collected some eyeballs by killing these slugs. I beat up some thugs in LeBron's hood, collected some fairies, threw some turtles, sent Donkey flying, made some chicken stew with Little Red Riding Hood. I like the vibe of this game overall. I just got stuck at this part right here, and I didn't have any mobs to throw at the sign, and the mirror wouldn't pop up to give me any advice, so I just left it at that. I think the game is really good and fun for that 1 hour that I played. Brawl in the Hood? You're telling me LeBron has a hood in this game? On to the PC version of Shrek 2, which is developed by No Wonder. This game is completely different. I start off with a cutscene and a tutorial. Then I meet Roy.
Hey, I'm Roy, your save fairy. If you see me flying around, run up to me and I'll save your game. Really sparks your sense of wonder, don't it?
Back to a cutscene straight out of a movie.
Are we there yet? How about now?
This feels so smooth and I'm so immersed. Donkey is actually getting on my nerves, but also making me laugh.
Good times! You need to get our wheel back so we can get a move on.
Oh my god, Donkey is so annoying.
Man, this is taking forever.
Right?
Hey, if people wanted to read their Bible.
Throughout the game, I keep noticing a shadowy figure. I'm guessing it's a wolf or something. I don't know, but it's kind of creeping me out. I got to a level where I fight Puss in Boots. Really anticlimactic fight, honestly, and then I end up actually being Puss in Boots. Now that I'm here, I have to say Puss in Boots The Last Wish is one of the greatest animated films I have ever seen. Anyways, I got the potion that I needed. I'm pretty sure this is like the climax of the actual movie, so I'm nearing the end, but I decided to call it a day. This game was actually super fun, and I think it's better than the PS2 version for sure. Shrek 2 for the Game Boy Advance. Side-scrolling game, and I think this is my favorite Game Boy Advance game so far. First of all, why is everyone lost? Donkey's lost, Shrek is lost according to Donkey, then someone else is lost. Anyways, the levels are pretty creative, especially chapter 3 and 4 where I have to switch on and off with Shrek and Donkey to do certain things. I found these actually fairly challenging for a small brain guy like myself. I got up to chapter 5, which is the whole first book, and decided to call it a day. Shrek 2 Ogre Bowler is the first game I had to spend money on. I actually rented it for 4 hours for $2.50, which is kind of crazy to only have access to the game for 4 hours instead of like a day or something. Also, this game came out like 20 years ago, so like, what the fuck, right? Anyways, this tiny little game was taking forever to install, and I had to close this browser and reopen to finally install and be able to play. I thought it was going to be Shrek characters throwing bowling balls, but it turns out you're throwing yourself. Also, I turned the music off because it was really loud, so I was left with just sound effects, and what the actual hell is this? Bro, what is that? What the hell? Anyways, I played a whole round by myself and I decided to stop because I was getting kind of sad. This game is just not good and sad. Shrek Activity Center Twisted Fairy Tale Fun was definitely an experience. I played hide and seek with Shrek, which was annoyingly easy. I had to click on Puss in Boots when he would appear out of a tree. A game mode where I had to lead a carriage to the castle. A game mode where I just had to color coordinate potions with Shrek's skin color. And another one where I just had to copy whatever the king does. Make smoothies with Fiona for some reason. And the funnest one was the last one, which was making food with the piglets. It's a weird game, definitely made for kids. I also got a virus warning because of this game, but thankfully this is the last PC game that I had to download from shady websites. Alright guys, let's take a little breather. I feel like I've been rambling for too long. What do you guys think about Shrek's new design? I don't see the big issue. I guess, yeah, he's looking a little less uglier, but bro is still pretty ugly. Also pretty funny that they casted Zendaya as one of the kids, and the other two kids aren't in this picture, so I'm guessing they're not a big part of this movie. I feel like a lot of the budget went to cast Zendaya. Also, a fun fact, the Spanish dub of Shrek movies are extremely popular in Mexico. There's not a single person that I personally know that's my age and Mexican that can do a Spanish quote from this movie. Shrek is literally a phenomenon over there.
¿Tú conoces a Pimpón?
¿A Pimpón?
Sí, Pimpón.
Sí, es un muñeco muy guapo y de cartón.
Sí, se lava su carita con agua y con jabón.
¿Con agua y con jabón?
Sí, se lava la carita.
The last 2004 game, Shrek Beg for Mercy. It literally feels just like Reekin Havoc, except this time I start off as Puss in Boots. There's 5 levels I have to get through for scroll 1. I'll say right off the bat, it's not even as good as Reekin Havoc. I think the levels are way easier and quicker. Also, the music is not that good. I did all the levels with Puss in Boots, and then the next 5 levels were going to be with Shrek. I just didn't have enough time to continue playing this game, and that was about it. Super simple, easy game. It's definitely better than the last 2 games I've played though. Alright, so this is what the ranking is looking like so far, with Super Party at number 1 and Ogre Bowler at that last. It's gonna have to take a stinker of a game to be worse than Ogre Bowler. Shrek Super Slam is the first game from 2005. It's a fighting video game that gives off Super Smash Brothers, and honestly, I kinda really like this game. Basically, you gotta get a bunch of licks in to get your slam ability, and after you slam someone, you get a point. And let me tell you, I was straight slamming. I fought Puss in Boots as a gingerbread man, then I fought Prince Charming as Donkey, and then Fiona versus Humpty Dumpty. It started to get really random, and I mean really random. Why is there Quasimodo, and why am I ganging up on him as Shrek and Fiona? We were just straight slamming his ass, and it wasn't even fair. I really like the game though. Let's try out the Game Boy Advance version. I had to fight Pinocchio, and I'm not gonna lie, he was slamming my ass with his long nose in the first game. But I wasn't gonna give up. I decided to give it another try. I figured out since he was moving way too fast for level 1 and all over the place, I realized if I just stood in the corner and I farted on him every time he got near me, I could just KO him and slam him. Next level, I had to slam some Puss and decided to call it a day. The GBA version was harder but not funner than the PS2 version. Smash and Crash Racing. It's your basic racing game with item boxes that gives you abilities. I was choosing Shrek for every game, but Donkey and the Dragon were looking really cool, so I chose them. This game is pretty basic. I feel like it's missing its own pizzazz other than having Shrek characters. It's like missing something. I just can't put my finger on it, on what it is, but no joke, the game is okay. And then there's the GBA version. No comment. Alright, before I move on to all the 2007 and 2008 games, this is what the ranking is looking like so far. Starting with Shrek the Third for Windows. Not gonna lie, I don't remember the plot of this movie, so I'm glad I got to see this intro to give me a bit of a refresher. I guess Fiona's dad is dying or dead and Shrek is going to become the new king. What the hell? I don't know why I'm dressed like this.
Come now, Shrek, it can't be that bad.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Anyways, I'm glad to be playing Puss in Boots in some parts of this game. He's just a great character. This game is pretty repetitive, which is a crazy thing to say because I have been playing Shrek games for the last 3 weeks and I'm just now starting to feel some repetitiveness. It's an okay game overall. I also played the GBA version. Wait, is that the hippo from Madagascar? It's a pretty standard GBA Shrek game, there's not much to be said. If I'm being honest, I'm just not a big fan of GBA games, so I don't spend too much time on it. I'm sorry to any GBA game fans out there. Shrek N Roll. Alright guys, this game was an Xbox Live game. This was a hassle to find and download, I'm not gonna lie. It's basically a co-op puzzle game where you have to balance a ball between 2 characters that you choose and feed it to Shrek and Fiona's babies. And that's basically it. You can play this with a friend, but I don't see myself ever asking a friend to play this game with me. It's a little goofy and it's just really basic and not that fun if I'm being honest. Shrek Ogres and Donkeys for the Nintendo DS made me realize something. It made me realize I need to get my life together. The game is rated E for everyone, but I feel like this should be rated EC for early childhood. You're basically exploring as 2 babies that you can choose from the beginning. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole game. Shrek Carnival Craze. This is reminding me of another mini game. I had to press specific buttons for each body part. I milked some cows. I stole some candy. I couldn't get past this level and I actually had to finish in first place to unlock the next 2 levels. But this was just one part of the game. It was Gingy Land and I went to Pinocchio Park afterwards. Oh no. Ogre Bowler, no. This is what Ogre Bowler should have been. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't gather enough power for this. I moved on to the last mini game I'll be playing, which is the sack racing. I want to like this game, but it kind of falls short of Super Party. And Super Party right now is my favorite game, so it doesn't feel like something I would want to play with my friends. That's it for all the 2007 and 2008 games. I was going to show you an updated ranking, but I thought maybe it's just best if I leave it to the end of the video. So moving on to a new decade, starting with Shrek Forever After that came out in 2010. Again, I don't remember much from this movie, I just remember this guy. I'm able to play as Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and Puss in Boots. Basically, I'm in an alternative version or universe of Far Far Away where Shrek never met Fiona thanks to this nerd. And it's up to Shrek to undo whatever this ugly nerd did and get his life back. That's the plot of the movie and game. I still think Shrek 2 is the best PC game so far. This game left me with more to be desired and it's a little boring and not as charming or as fun as Shrek 2. I'm not a big fan of the camera point of view either. I just had a hard time overall being immersed in this game, but it's okay. Also, Puss in Boots is really fat in this game. Puss in Boots for the DS. I know this technically is not a Shrek game, but Puss in Boots is a Shrek character. And what more can I say about Puss in Boots? The Last Wish has solidified him as a top tier character, so I was actually excited to jump into this game. But I have to admit, I almost actually quit right away because I didn't understand the first game, but then I figured it out. Easy peasy. And then the next level I had to blow dust off my boots. The thing is, I had to actually use my voice in order to blow the dust off, and that's exactly what I did. Blow off sand. I gotta yell into the mic. Ah! 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 Let's go. The next couple levels were actually pretty fun. The same concept, just click in the circle or square at the right time. I definitely would see myself playing this a lot as a kid. Dreamworks All-Star Cards for the Wii. Another game that's not technically a Shrek game, but it has Shrek in it, so I chose Shrek. And it's just like the last racing game, the only notable difference that I'm seeing is literally just the characters. I think the speed is also really slow for a racing game, so it's 100% falling short on this list. I'm not impressed at all. Even with all these other characters from different films, it's just not hitting. We're finally at the end. Another Dreamworks All-Star Kart Racing for the PC. Will this be better than the last racing game? And being the most modern Shrek game, could it be number 1 or at least crack top 5? This game came out in 2023, 12 years after the last racing game. So the modern graphics right away caught my attention. But then I'm thrown off by the voice actors for Shrek and Donkey.
What does a noble steed need a noble steed for?
Relax, Donkey. It'll be easy.
Who the hell
Easy
are
as
these people?
pie.
I went through the tutorial and saw there's an online multiplayer option. I thought, let me practice really quick in single player before I compete against actual real people online. I absolutely smoked everyone in my practice single player round, so I felt like I was ready. I actually waited in a lobby for about 5 minutes for someone to join, but it looks like I was the only person playing this game on a Tuesday morning. So I played another single player race to get a general consensus, and yeah, this game is actually pretty good. Definitely the best quote unquote Shrek racing game. It's not on the level of a Mario Kart or Crash Nitro Kart, but it's still pretty enjoyable. Alright guys, it's finally here, the final ranking of all the Shrek Swamp Tycoon Roblox. That's right, we're playing Roblox. I've only played Roblox once with some of my friends, so let's see how this goes. The only reason we're playing this is because it's actually an official Dreamworks Roblox Shrek game, so we're gonna be playing that. I actually got really lucky. This game is actually shutting down in a few weeks from when I'm recording this. There's only 3 people in the server, so my goal was to go from noob ogre to the most absolute Chad ogre of them all. But then I saw the leaderboard and I'm like, holy smokes, a bunch of nerds, am I right? Well, eventually after playing for an hour and rebuilding a bunch of stuff for a lot of money, I got up to a level 11, which makes me a Diablo Gato, and I unlocked this city for 25 million coins. This was actually like really addicting. I really want to come back and finish everything before this game shuts down. Alright, finally, Shrek Power Wash Simulator, another bonus game. I never played this game before. I just saw that I had this Shrek DLC pack and decided to play it. Yeah, I was trying my best to clean this whole wall, but it was taking way too long, and that was the whole game basically. There's an option to play with friends, and I think this experience would be way better if I did play with my friends. It's super simple. I think this would be a super chill, casual game if you just want to like chat with your friends instead of just sitting on a Discord call not doing anything. Finally guys, we're here. Here is my full ranking of all 32 Shrek games that I played in this video, with Ogre Bowler at dead last, and my top 3 being Super Party, Shrek 2 for the PC, and yep, Roblox. It's really addicting guys. I think you guys should play it. Playing all these games has made me more excited for Shrek 5. I'm genuinely hoping for the best regardless of the backlash it's getting from this single picture. Let me know your guys' personal experience with Shrek and any Shrek game or media, and remember, this is just my personal experience and I'm not much of a gamer. Peace.